What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for a special interview on today. Man, listen, we're big time out here. TV stars in the building. We have Ashley Jones, the CEO and creative director of Tones of Melanin, that will be featured on Shark Tank on May the 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Listen, y'all need to check it out. If y'all don't see it on May the 19th, go on Hulu. We're up with it. How you doing today, Ashley?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Man, I'm amazing. Listen, I had to cancel YouTube TV because it started getting too expensive, and I got Sling now, so I got to figure out a way. I got to figure out a way to get ABC now because I don't got ABC right now on Sling.
Yeah, Hulu. They probably, they normally give the episodes right after. So Hulu, most definitely. I got YouTube too, YouTube TV. I love it. But yes, most definitely, it'll be on, and I believe it also be on the ABC website as well.
Hey, listen, we're gonna check it out. We got to support because, listen, the HBCU alumni are on Shark Tank heavy. We had Dr. Bobby Peterson that was on the March 3rd episode, and she got a deal with Barbara Corcoran. So I know you already have filmed it, but we're hoping you get the deal. We out here hoping and praying.
We shall see. Tune in.
Cliffhangers. We love to see it. Cliffhangers. We love to see it. All right. So let's just really get into the interview before we talk about Shark Tank. So tell us about Tones of Melanin for folks that don't know.
Tones of Melanin, we're an HBCU advocacy brand, but we put all our focus into clothing because that's how we get you in. We believe that when people wear HBCU gear, you're pretty much like the walking billboard for that institution. I believe that every Black, brown girl and boy should go to an HBCU. I feel like it's made for us. I believe that, for us to advance, I believe that HBCUs prepare us the best for that in the workplace.
I totally agree. So tell us about your journey to starting Tones of Melanin, because I did my research and you have a story that's very similar to mine. So tell us about how you started Tones of Melanin.
So I'm a graphic designer by trade, taught myself at 14 years old. I used to do MySpace pages back in the day. So I did MySpace pages with Lynn, and we used to doing flyers. And then once I graduated high school, I ended up going to Norfolk State University, and I started a clothing line. I'm like, I can, the designs that I'm making on flyers, I can put it on apparel. So I decided to start a clothing line. It was called Rise and Grind. I had it for like a year and a half too. It didn't end badly. I just decided, I was over it. From there, right after that, I actually crossed Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and my big sister was like, "Hey, I remember you was doing them T-shirts. Like, what's going on? Like, you should do some Greek stuff." And as a crossing gift, my uncle bought me a heat press, which is like completely left field. People get paddles, T-shirts. He bought me a heat press because he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make some money out of this. You can make some money out of this." So I ended up getting a heat press, and I started a Greek clothing line called BBB Greek Gifts. It was really big in the Greek world. And I loved it, but the target market got younger and younger and younger. And I was producing premium items, but with the younger customer, they try to pay that price. But from that, I started dripping in and bringing in NSU stuff. And I seen that people were liking it. I was like, all right, NSU like it. And then I had someone to reach out. They're like, well, you didn't overstate. Can you do Southern? And I ended up doing like a Southern homecoming, I think it was class of 2009. It was like their reunion. I did their jerseys. I was like, all right, well, I need to do some more schools. So I ended up adding more and more schools. And I was like, I need to divide the two. This can't go under BBB Greek Gifts because people are going to think it's just Greek stuff, and it's not. So I was like, I got to come up with a name. And my little sister was like, I need something to represent the Black community, but it ain't just saying it. She's like, what about Tones of Melanin? So my little sister gave me the name Tones of Melanin, and it started from there. I started just doing schools randomly, and I did it all the wrong way. I didn't have any licenses for a little while. I was like, man, I'll apply it. I didn't hear anything back, so I kept doing it. I got popped, did it wrong, got in trouble, but I did pay the fee, and I came back, and I did it the right way. I have my license now, I want to say, for maybe 40 different institutions. Anybody that we don't have is pretty much because they don't have that system in play for licensing. But that's how we got here.
I love to hear this. This is a made for TV story. This is why you're on TV. This is a made for TV story. We fall down, but we get up, and then now we rear up. You feel me? So I really love how you switched the branding. You went from the Greek branding to Tones of Melanin. And I think that's important because I think a business name and a brand, it invokes energy. And I think that Tones of Melanin, gives a different energy that really speaks to the HBCU communities. So how do you come up with the designs for it? Because you said you do graphic design. How do you come up with the designs?
I really love the '90s, so I use a lot of '90s stuff for inspiration, and I try to be like innovative with what we do. So everybody knows like the satin jacket. That is like everybody knows. Like we've seen it. You'll see it in MLB, NBA. But I decided I was like, everybody's doing a satin. What if I made mine reversible? So that's like our key item. We have a reversible satin jacket, and basically you get two jackets for the price of one. So you can flip it inside out. You can be at one event and then switch it up. You got a whole other outfit. So I just tried to add innovative things to past fashion items and try to put my own little swirl on it to make it me.
I love it. So let's talk about licensing because you said a lot of interesting things in the story because you say you got in trouble. Then also I did research and I saw a video that you did where you had the board out and you broke down the whole entire tree of licensing, yes or no. This would happen when no happens, when yes happens. I saw the whole entire thing. So it seems like a very tedious process. So briefly walk us through for the radio audience, like how licensing for this type of company goes.
Okay, so say for instance, I'm gonna make up an institution. Orange University, I want to sell Orange University stuff. So I will apply. There's a third party company for majority of the schools that pretty much handles everything. So I'll say, hey, I want to sell Orange University stuff. And then I'll say, well, I want to sell it on my website. I want to sell it in department stores. I want to sell it to the actual store. I want to be able to sell it through magazine. Like I have to go through every channel. And then I'll say, well, I want to sell T-shirts for Orange. I want to sell socks, book bags, T-shirts. So that's another part of the application. And then I'll get approved. So say for instance, Orange University, like, congratulations, yes you can. From there they'll say, well, you can have our license, but I need some money up front. So they can say, well, I need $500 up front, I need $1,000. You know what? I don't need any money up front. But they on top of that, so you pay that money up front if they have that, and then they'll tell you, well, for every item you sell, I need this in commission essentially. So Orange University can say, well, I need 10% commission off of every item you sell. So if I say I have a pair of socks, right? And it's for $10. I have to give them 10% of that. So for every item that I sell, it goes back to that institution, and they decide what they want to do with the money. Every single item has to be approved. So I can say I have for Orange University, I have a pair of white socks that has to get approved, a pair of orange socks that has to get approved, a pair of black socks that has to get approved. I want a T-shirt, same exact thing. So it's a lot of it's a long process in getting designs approved. So that's kind of how everything is situated once you have your license. And every time I come up with a T-shirt design or any design period, I send it to them. I wait. It's up to them on how long this all takes. So I can apply for Orange University right now in May, but I might not hear anything back until August from saying, yeah, you can sell it. And then say August 1st, I give them the design. It can take them a week. It can take them a day. It can take a month. It's up to their discretion and whoever's in that position and how fast they're approving things. So a lot of times, I'm kind of at the mercy of that potential, like that university.
Man, like that, like I said, that seems like an incredibly tedious process. And in the video, you talked about CLC, which is the Collegiate Licensing Company, and they have, the rights to, I think, up to 40 HBCUs, including Fort Valley and Norfolk.
They actually represent more than just HBCUs. They pretty much kind of got it locked for like almost any major college you can think of. So they're the company that serves the middle part for us to communicate to the school and the school to communicate through us. They're just like the buffer between the two. To they try to speed up the process and have it in one central location, so I don't have to directly contact Fort Valley. I don't have to directly contact the state. I can just do it all through this one kind of platform.
And then if you do directly contact the school, they'll say, go here. Like they'll be quick to say, no, go here.
9 times out of 10, they will, unless you already kind of have that rapport and you have that relationship with them. They're still you have to go through their point blank period. So they're going to direct you there. But if you have a question about a design, 9 times out of 10, you can contact the school. Like, well, why didn't this get approved? Like, what can I change to get this approved?
So I think that's important. So like what warrants an approval or a denial? Because that was the part that was really interesting to me. Like, is that you had a situation where like you designed something for Jackson State and it's like a jacket, the Jackson made jacket, but then you go to Fort Valley or you go to Norfolk and say, hey, I want to make this, and they're like, no, we don't like it, but it's selling over here. Do you deal with that? Or what warrants an approval and a denial?
It's basically personal preference on the school and their branding guidelines. Like a lot of certain schools, they want you to have like pretty kind of like stencil style font. They want it to be kind of cut and dry. I'm like, but that doesn't sell. Like, the Times New Roman, that doesn't sell. Like, we got to add a little flavor. Like, that's our culture. Like, so that's another thing. I try to put our culture into our design. Like, you're not going to go to FAMU and see the same thing that you see at Florida State, if I was to design it. You're going to see a difference because it's a different population and it's different things that they want. But it's all on personal preference. It can even go down to color. They can say, well, green is in our color guide, but you can't have more than 10% of this shirt be green. So it's all up to the institution and how they want to regulate things and with how, like I said, how they wanted to have it.
Man, we need younger people to like really step up in those positions and start approving their designs. Because if you have folks that were younger in there, like the apparel for the school would be so dripped out because like we see it based on our eyes. Like we're younger and we know what's fashionable based on, you know, what's out now, you know? So I think that, you know, when I was hearing that process and hearing what you're saying now, I think that's a lot of what's going on is that you have older gatekeepers that's like, no, we're not going to do it like that because traditionally we've done it like this. This is how it's normally look. So I think that that's really key, but you've been making it happen as far as with the designs and the way that you shape the designs. I have a lot of, you know, favorite designs from you in clothing I'm trying to get, but I gotta ask you about this because we're in a volatile economy right now. So what issues have you faced building an online based business?
Pricing, of course, trying to be sensitive to the market, but at the same time, the cost of everything is going up. We get stuff imported from overseas. Depends on how we ship stuff. Like, for instance, 10 boxes can cost through air $1,000, but through sea, those 10 boxes cost, you know, maybe $50. But it's how long I have to wait for that product. But I do pride ourselves in having price points to hit everybody. So we have T-shirts that range from $19 to $25, and then we have luxury items like our reversible that can be anywhere between $140 and $165. We hope to kind of, you know, meet you where you are. So we try to give a little bit of, you know, price points for everybody. To, you know, just make it easier. So we hope that, you know, maybe we get you on a $20 product and you see the quality of that and maybe that inspires you. That 160 jacket, that actually is worth it. I see the product, you know, here. So that's our goal when we're doing pricing because we know it's freshmen out here that can't afford it, but we know the alumni, they can spend $600-700 just on, they'll go to homecoming and drop $600-700 just for apparel.
Now, there's some alumni that can't afford it either. I'm not gonna hold you. Some
alumni, the old heads.
Yeah, the old heads, like the ones that's already established with the millions. Because some of the young alumni is like, we trying to depict: do we want the tones of melanin? Do we want food? You know what I'm saying? So like, it gets tricky. So I love that you have like the different price points because it does get very tricky out here when it comes to getting HBCU apparel because it's so high priced. But I think within a business, you have to price your stuff, you know, the right way to make sure you get a profit.
And then we also have we have Klarna, we have like all of the payment plan ones. We have those as well to help with that, so that hey, you can break it down to how you need to break it down. If it's 4 payments, if it's whatever it is, we try to meet everybody where they're at. We try our best.
So listen, when you're trying to grow a business, everything normally falls on you. And I know that's something that I've had to deal with in growing HBCU Pulse. But, you know, as you expand, you have to build out a team. And I see you have an amazing staff that works with you. I saw the video you had them work out. That was hilarious. So it was hilarious. So when did you know it was time for you to hire a staff to help expand Tones of Melanin?
So I have a 2-year-old. I was pregnant. And I was like, I cannot do this on my own. Like physically, I couldn't. So I started adding people slowly but surely. We got the department store order from Belt, and I was like, it's no way possible that I can handle this or just one other person. I was like, we got to start, you know, getting people in slowly but surely. So it's based off of kind of like demand as well. Like I know that I don't want to work 20-hour days. I'm very strong. Like unless it's vending, we're not working on the weekends. I believe in, you know, work-life balance. And all my employees the same thing. I'm not trying to keep you here all night. I'm not trying to keep you here on the weekend. So I just, you know, I try to divide it up the best I can.
I love that. So listen, I did an interview with Angie Wandu, and it really is the template for how I do business interviews. And one of the things that stuck out to me that really inspired me back in 2021 is that she talked about building a team and bringing on your first player. And for her first player, she called it, was someone that could make her money. Then she brought in someone that can build content to make the page valuable and bring in an audience to sell advertisers to. And, you know, HBCU Pulse in the Shade Room, we're media businesses. So oftentimes we don't have products that we're selling, but Tones of Melanin, y'all out here, y'all get the products, y'all are moving them, y'all are making money. So like, who were the first couple of people that you hired to make sure that the business was moving effectively?
Someone to help with orders. That was number one because I can't make money, or we can't make money if my hands are in it. I can't be on the floor at all times. Like I'm pressing shirts, I'm counting. Like I step in when need be, but if that's what I'm doing every day, that's my number one task. we're gonna hit a glass ceiling real hard because I can't do anything else. So making sure I have somebody to actually get orders out, and then also operations manager as well to figure out where our bottlenecks are. Or do we need more staffing here? When do we need this with our season? So things like that. Those are the main two things that was the first two hires that I had was somebody to help with orders, and then someone to make sure when department store orders come in, what do we have to do? How do we need to put that system into place so that it's like my biggest thing is I never wanted for when we had department store orders, I didn't want it to cause us to be late on customer orders, like our direct customers. So I divided the two so that the two don't clash. Like it's never gonna be a point in time, hopefully, where stuff isn't going out because we have this big order coming in. So those were the two main parts for us.
Delegation is key. And I think that's something that as entrepreneurs, we often don't understand because, the business is our baby and we want to see it succeed. So sometimes we're like, only I can make this succeed. Only I have the formula. And I think like for entrepreneurs like you and others that have really made it and that are successful, it takes you delegating, it takes you building that team to make it happen. So I think that's brilliant. Hopefully a lot of entrepreneurs are listening because you can't do it yourself. You see it in basketball. LeBron can't do it himself. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to build a team to help.
The best of the best, but you're gonna lack in one area. You can't be a master of everything. So finding people that also where you lack somebody that can pick up in areas that you're just like knowing when to say this ain't me. I can't do it. Like this is not my area of expertise. I need somebody else to get in because I'm losing money trying to figure it out. Like I'm spending X amount of hours trying to figure out why A plus B equals C when I can be like, hey, you already know how to do this formula. Just go ahead and plug it in how you know how to do it.
Exactly. So let's talk about just the layout of the HBCU apparel industry because there are a lot of competitors, right? And really for me, the three that I really look at that like y'all are at the top of the game is Tones of Melanin, Support Black Colleges, and College Lux. Like y'all are the ones to me that really run the game, and I see everyone wearing the apparel from you all. So how do you differentiate your Tones of Melanin from the other brands in the HBCU apparel space?
I think it's I'm the designer, so it's coming from my head to whatever I want. I think that's the biggest thing. Everybody's doing their own thing. I feel like it's enough money for all of us to be successful. It's not we're not competing. We are not each other's competition. Our competition is Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Champion. I'm not competing against them. Like we're here together. We all have the same issues, and we're still trying to figure it out. Nike and them, they the ones that. Or how about when Polo dropped the release with for the Morehouse is filming? I'm like, this is not it, and they charge $600 for a T-shirt. I'm just like, how? Like those are our competitors. Like that's where we aspire to be. So they're not my competition. It's Nike and them figuring out how they like literally they can drop something and sell out in a matter of minutes or seconds, and it's not even up to par. Like they're not even on our level. The Nike designs, they're not coming at where we at. I feel like we're dropping stuff that's better than Nike, but they have the name. So building our name up to be those household Nikes, Reeboks, Champion, Adidas. So I think that's the biggest thing. Staying true to your values and when you started this vision, when you started this brand, what was your vision? What was your goal? When you realize what your mission statement is, none of that don't matter. If you're out here doing what you said that you wanted to do, that's the most important thing. Numbers don't matter. If your goal is, I want to get a little girl or boy into an HBCU by seeing my T-shirt, let that be the thing that's in the back of your head every day. That's going to be your driving force from when seasons are bad and when seasons are good.
And I love that. And I heard in your video, like you did a video where it's like a general introduction into Tones of Melanin. And you said at the end of the video, you said that you want to be like Nike. You want to be the Nike of the HBCU community. And you said something very key is that goes to branding because Nike has been around for so long. They have all these influencers and athletes. And even when they get into the HBCU space, they have yard runners and they're getting HBCU influencers to endorse those products and wear those products, even design those products. But it goes a lot to branding. So one thing I always say when it comes to the HBCU space is that the media space is hard because we have a lot of content to work with from TikTok and the students are creating content and we create our own content, but the money is often hard to come by. And with media, you're selling partnerships, you're selling advertising, you're partnering with businesses. But like, I'm like, oh man, if I was like Tones of Melanin, we'd be making $1 million. But the social media piece is important. And you're almost a part of the media space because you're sharing TikToks, you're sharing news. So I consider Tones of Melanin a part of the media space. So to you, how important is social media to the brand of Tones of Melanin?
It's our everyday voice. Like that's how we tell our story when we can't physically do it. Our social media should tell the story to a new customer. They should know when they get on our website what our core vision is, what our mission is. And of course, you can add, the funnies here, but we want to be that haven for all things HBCU. Like, yes, we do clothes, but clothes is just like, how they used to say, clothes is just the front. We just trying to get you in. Like, and our whole goal is just to be the advocate for HBCUs through social media. So, like, one thing I always say, we will never put out bad news about HBCUs. That is not our goal. We do not use our platform for that. If there's something wrong going on, it's enough people that's going to talk bad about it. We're not going to be that. We're going to give you the highlights of everything that's going on with the HBCU because we're going to get enough bad. So let us give you the good.
No, I totally understand that. And oftentimes, like, even when things are going bad, you have to share information that can help people. It's hard because you have this responsibility, when you're in this space to make sure that you're not like contributing to the bad image of HBCUs. So I totally get that. And especially with us being a news outlet, you have to be really sensitive in what you're saying, how you're portraying HBCUs. And a lot of folks that are outside the space don't understand that because we have to have a due diligence because if we put out something that is negative, it's going to come down tenfold, So I think that a lot of people don't understand that. But to get back to the social media point, like one thing I learned about business a while ago is that you have to build a community, especially when you have a product-based business. And I think for HBCU apparel companies, it's brilliant because the culture that you're building amongst the customers is HBCU culture. So like, I don't think people understand is about the sales funnel. You got to take folks through the funnel and then take them through there. And then they're going to be, customers that buy everything from you. So how have you been building upon that funnel using the community of HBCUs and your social media to really build that customer base?
My thing is just, if I can get you to follow us, I can get you to buy. If I can get you, or if I can get you on our site, I can get you to buy. So the main thing is getting you on the site. Whatever it takes to get you on the site, just to like, if it's a funny video, if it's news, my goal is to get you to become a follower. Because I believe once I have you, I have you. I'm not going. You ain't gonna leave. It's nice over here. So that's my big thing. And I use like you said, social media. I use the funnies. I use news. I use whatever is out there to get you to come in. And then lastly, like I don't want our social media. We tried different techniques when it comes to social media. We see what works best is it's not we're in a weird space. You have the Nike who can post product all day and only product. That's all you're gonna see. We tried that. Now we're going back into like, let's give you some funny, let's give you some news because I don't want you to come on our platform and think we're just always trying to sell you something. Our goal is not that. Our goal is not to sell. Our goal is to give you information and to get you to know what's going on within the world. And then if you want to buy something on top of that, that is amazing.
That's true. And like we said about Nike thing is so true because they can just post a bunch of products. People are like, oh, this is so fire. I'm going to go get it. Like, and it's like, we can't do that because we going to get 20 likes. Like, you're not going to see it. We're going to be broke if we do that. We got to be inventive. So you're totally right when it comes to that. So, you talked about how, your clothing line is in department stores like Belk and Nordstrom and Macy's. And then it's in college bookstores around the nation. Because like I said, I watched the video and you talked about how you started with smaller HBCUs such as St. Augustine's. And I think that that's key to build upon that. You had a partnership with Voorhees College. Like, I think that that's important to build upon that base and then grow out and also represent HBCUs that aren't typically represented. So like you said, you hired someone to deal with the department order. So it seems like this is a very important part of the business. So what was the process like for you to make it happen to get the product into stores such as that?
So we got our license in March, and it's crazy because that was getting into department stores was never a goal. That wasn't on the vision board. That was not in my mind. They approached us, the department store, contacted us and said, hey, we're launching a new kind of like a Black-owned section of part of our store. And within that, we want to highlight HBCUs, a customer. This is why it's very important to treat your customers like with respect. This is why your social media has to be strong because a customer worked for Belk and actually told them we need to have them. If I never would have had that person as a customer, we probably would have never even been across their radar. But Belk approached us. The vice president of planning shot in the DM. She's like, hey, I'm the vice president of planning. We would love to have you in Belk department stores. I'm like, this ain't real. I don't believe this. Like, you get the messages like, I'm like, it's a scam. I said, all right, send me an email. So she sent me an email, and at the end it said at belk.com. I said, oh, this is real. So we had several meetings back to back. Just she kind of gave me the floor of how what their vision was with Belk and what they hope to achieve with it. And then she was like, send me a catalog and things like that. So we went back and forth for maybe like 5 or 6 months, and then I finally got the order. And with that, people don't understand that. Yes, a department store could say, I'm just gonna throw a number. A department store could say, hey, I want like $10 million worth of your product. That is on you to pay for. Like you have to fund that. You have to get it made, however long that takes. And then even once it's done getting made, you have to send it to them. You're still not being paid. So they can say, well, it got delivered to us, we'll pay you in 60 days from when it got delivered. So a lot of times, like I just went to a business advisor. And we actually tracked down, how long does it take for us to get paid? And a lot of times, it takes us 34 to 37 weeks from when we get an order, from when we send it out for us to get paid. So people like, they're like, I'm making all this money and this, and I'm like, by the time it come in, another one going out. So it's going, but we figured out a way to break that cycle. So, yeah, department store. So we dope shot their shot at us, and then after that, we kind of learned the system. And once you get into one store, it's really easy to attract others. So then we shot our shot with I think it was Dick's Sporting Goods. It was kind of a mutual thing. Like they were looking for us, and we were looking for them, and we linked with that. Fanatics, they wanted us. We made that thing happen, and then Follett, I shot my shot with, and they're the ones who I want to say they're over maybe 24 HBCU bookstores. So once you kind of learn the system, it's kind of easy to plug and play into more stores in the future.
And these companies are funny because it's crazy that they do that in the apparel industry as well. They shoot that net 30, that net 60. We'll get to you in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yes, net 90. And that's honestly why a lot of black businesses are not in retail. If you think about it, who has, because when it's not like they're going to tell you ahead of time, hey, we plan on spending $2 million. You just get this purchase order and you're tallying the numbers up. You're like, this is $2 million. And it's like, I got to put this in production. And a lot of black businesses, they end up sinking because they don't know where to get that money from, and they don't realize how long the process truly takes. Because in your head, you're like, all right, I get paid it 2 months, but it really turns out to be 6. And how that messes up your cash flow and things like that. That's something that we're still learning. And I finally, like literally within like the last 2-3 months, I finally figured out the formula to make this work so that we don't get into debt in the future. So yeah, this is a common issue with all black brands getting into retail, and that's why we don't occupy a lot of retail space.
It's what's so crazy is that this interview is going so well. We really answered the next question that I had. I was going to ask you if retail was viable and sustainable to the business, but I'm like, is it? If they paying you in 5 months from now, is it?
But at the same time, I'll give you a scenario. I had went to Atlanta last year, and my line sister surprised me with tickets to the Atlanta Hawks HBCU game day. And I went there. I'm like, I don't live in Atlanta. I'm out of Norfolk, Virginia. And as I was there, after the game, they had like a little party outside, kind of like a little yard fest, as you would say. And I seen so many people in my product. Like I never, like, I don't know you. Like literally, it felt like every other person had something of mine on. And my boss was like, she made that. And they're like, oh, for real? I got it from Bell. So it's customers that I would never reach. Like we know social media with social media, and they will not see your stuff. So by having a physical presence, you're opening yourself up to a brand new customer that you might not get off of social media, and also a different age bracket, because older women are not on social media, but they're at that store, and then when they see your product, they're like, "That's you? Yeah, I love this." So it does add that element of kind of marketing as well to release you to a population that you maybe never will reach through social.
Hey, that makes a bunch of sense, and it makes sense for that strategy because that's promo. You're reaching a different audience, but also I will say that I have watched Shark Tank for years. A lot of the reason why I do HBC polls is because I watch Shark Tank, and one thing that they always love, they ask you, so are you in retail? Yes, we're in retail. We're in Belks. We're in Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in Nordstrom. They're like, oh, they start writing it down. They love if you're in retail. They love if you have a patent pending, and they love if you make some money. They're like, I'll give you a deal. You gotta finish. I'll give you a deal. We're gonna do it. Like, so I'm already knowing that when you said that, they were like, oh, wait a minute. This is something I want to invest in. So let's talk about Shark Tank. So what led you to wanting to pitch the sharks on Shark Tank?
Man, I honestly was like, I thought that was another, like, I ain't gonna get this. If I'm gonna be honest, I was like, it ain't gonna happen. But my PR, she told me last year, she's like, apply. I was like, I'm not applying. I'm not going. And then she told me again, she's like, apply. So I applied, and I was like, I got it. Like, it happened. So it wasn't like, oh, this is something that, like, I knew. I was just like, they probably not going to want to. Like, I was like, I don't have no patents. Like, I watch Shark Tank as well. I'm like, it's an innovative product, but is it that innovative? I don't know. So it was literally like me throwing a dart in the air and it landed, literally.
So, like, what went into preparing? Because I know that when Dr. Bobby Peterson was on, Howard alumna, and she got her big mouth toothbrush. She's with Barbara Corcoran, and she bought into it and invested. She said she did extensive homework on the typical things that Shark Tank talks about, like the valuation and those different things. So, how did you do the homework to get ready to pitch the Sharks?
I watched Shark Tank. It was like I was binge watching. Like, okay, this is a question they can ask. This is a question they can ask. And then like I went online and typed in frequently asked Shark Tank questions. I was like, I started memorizing. Like they ask it this way. All right, this. So literally, I just like you do your research, and when you try to go to a university or you try to join an organization, it's the same exact thing. That's exactly what I did just to prepare, because you never know what they're gonna ask you. Like, so I just tried to, every question they could ask, I tried to find the answer for it ahead of time.
See, this is perfect for HBCU alumni then, because listen, we study anyway. Like you said, join an organization, you study. When it's final exam time, you studying. Got to turn the paper in 11:59. You in there studying, and we didn't have Chat GPT, so we can just type it in, and then they give you the information. Now we had to really be studying and cramming. So I think that Shark Tank is really good for HBCU entrepreneurs. So how was it with the pressurized environment of Shark Tank? Because what it seems like when we hear from people that have been on Shark Tank, it seems for a lot of people very intimidating, because you have to stand there. You have to stand there and wait while they're getting the cameras and stuff together. And then you have that one take and you're going and you're pitching to the Sharks and you're in front of millionaires and billionaires. So for you, how was it being in that environment?
It was being comfortable and knowing what my vision was. When I went in, I had this idea. I'm like, regardless of what happens, I know that I prepared. I know what I'm doing for the HBCU community. So that was the two things that resonated in my head. It doesn't matter what they say to you, Ashley. You know that you prepared, and you know what this could possibly bring for the HBCU community. So those are the major two things for me. I was like, I'm a Delta. I did a probate. I done a lot of things. I'm like, this is just another task. Like the same way you prepare for everything. I played basketball. I didn't practice the same way you practice for a game. You go over playbooks and things like that. So I felt like my whole entire life I have been practicing for this moment. I'm not a person like when it comes to like performing, I got that. Like now practice, I might be nervous when practicing, but when it's time to go, I think I knock it out. I'm a performance person.
And you got to perform when it's time. In the clutch, you got to perform, and that's that sports side of it. In the clutch, you got to go come through.
Yeah. So, what you go? Look, either you go barbecue or mildew. So pick one. I'm a cook every day.
Listen, you dropping game right now. You go barbecue or a mildew. Now, I hope you said that on the episode. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I need to write that down. That's something new." So you said, "Oh, they'll be like, man, I never heard it before in my life." Some Damon probably would have heard it. They were like, "Oh, no, I feel it. I heard that back when I was 5." You know what I mean? But like, listen, the Shark Tank effect. Like, I'm someone that is a student of media, and when you're on TV, that's a different level of exposure that comes to you and also your business. And we've seen it on singing shows like American Idol back in the day, but there's no really American Idol type of effect now, because you have so many ways to get media and to consume media. But Shark Tank is one of those only venues in media where you're on there and your business instantly blows up. Like, for example, I keep talking about Dr. Bobby Peterson, Howard alumna. She got to deal with Barbara Corcoran on Shark Tank. After the episode, 24 hours later, her big mouth toothbrush sold out. 24 hours after. So we're talking to you before the episode aired. So listen, we getting the exclusive here. So like, how have you prepared for that Shark Tank effect to happen for your business?
For us, if we offer 100 products, I'm setting it up where we can't sell out of more than 25%. We're going to do pre-sales. So it's never going to be a thing of, I can't get it. Oh, you can get a pre-sale. You might have to wait a month or two, but it's not going to be one of those things where I can't get it. I missed it. So that's how we're doing it internally. I already talked to my manufacturer saying, hey, we got some stuff that's coming. We don't know how big it's going to be, but we're just letting you know, get ready, because there's no way for us to prepare. We don't know how this is going to turn. You can look at stories, you can watch, people's testimonials. So I think the biggest thing is preparing the best you can. And for me, it's like, making it so that our products can't sell out. It's never going to be like, majority of our products are not. A lot of stuff we make in-house, everything else, our big items, we pre-selling, so it won't sell out. We ain't leaving no money on the table.
Now that's big. And then like, listen, if they like, listen, you know, you got to pre-order, but if you want to go to Belks, you know what I'm saying? You go get that thing from Belks, you go get that thing from Dick's Sporting Goods.
So yeah, I mean that as well. If they have it in store, because our stuff, I will say that our stuff it sells out in Belk. Like we doing good in Belk. Same thing with Dick's Sporting Goods. A lot of our premium items, they're not lasting on shelves too long. So even with that, they gotta come to us. If they can't go there, you gotta come to me.
Hey, that's true. So let me ask this then. Let me ask this. So when that happens, because I know that when this episode airs, the Shark Tank effect is going to be amazing. It's going to really take your, yes, you receive it because it's going to take your business to the next level because you're already at such a high level. But that level of exposure, then I know you're going to get that deal. I mean, I'm not going to do spoilers, but I know you're going to get that deal. But it's going to take the business to the next level. So I think that it's going to be a lot of folks that are going to go to Belks. They are going to go to the different retail stores. They are going to go to the website. But I have to ask this, like what happened? I think I know the answer to this, but what happens when they sell out in Belks? Do they do another order and they keep doing orders if it sells out?
They possibly, I don't know the answer for that. I would say that if they're saying that something is selling fast and they're hearing people like, if it sell out, I need people to tell people, hey, ask the Belk or whatever store, hey, tell the manager, hey, I want that. Because at the end of the day, that for the next year, they're going to be like, we need to double what we had last time because the customers want it. So I think, if anything, it might increase how much they carry for the next season if they see that people are requesting it. So that's the only thing I can think of. If I was, the manager or the planning person at Belk, I'd be like, we got to order some more. There's too many people who want it. And they know that they can come here for it. So it's just on them now to plan.
Man, if I was a manager at a store, they would have fired me because I would have had tons of melanin all over the store. And the Nike, I would have been like, this is Yard Runners, buy it. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, this is Yard Runners. You know what I'm saying? They would have fired me. They would have been like, this man lying. You know what I'm saying? But I love it. I love it. So before you go, I want you to let us know how we can support you, because I think that, just outside of being on Shark Tank, I think that the community needs to support Tones of Melanin and businesses such as Tones of Melanin, because like you said before in other venues, you want to be the Nike of this space and you want to really dominate the space. And Black folks have to support Black folks. HBCU community, the HBCU community has to support members of the HBCU community in these endeavors. So outside of Shark Tank, what do you have coming up? How can we follow you on social media and how can we support you?
Partnerships. We're trying in the same way Nike has partnership with different companies. If you're an executive of a company, you need somebody. We do customs. If you need some apparel, contact us. We can be there instead of you using XYZ athletics that's in your background. Like, come to us. That's one way. Another way, sharing stuff. Even if you don't want to buy it, share it on your social so that somebody else can see it. A lot of times within the Black community, we gatekeep, like, that's too fresh. I can't let them know where I got to tell, because the more customers we have, we can do my creativity. I can do more things now because I can they bought that. Let me drop something else new. So telling people, Black businesses, we don't get reviews unless something is bad. If you have a good customer experience, if it's a comment on Instagram saying I got it and I loved it, if it's a review on Facebook shop, like the shopping store, we need those. Google, we need all the negative, all the positive ones, because a lot of times we only get it when it's negative. So that helps affect, Google pushing our stuff up higher because people are saying they love it and things like that, and it brings more eyes. If you see a company with 500 5-star ratings, you're gonna be like, oh, they're good. I'm more inclined to buy. So that they can follow us at Tones of Melanin, TONESOFMELANIN on all social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all of those. And like our future, we plan on establishing the nonprofit side because we really want to help getting these kids into school. So hopefully this will bring some eyes on us so that we can get some more, corporate collabs so that we can start having events and things of that nature to really get my biggest thing is, my goal is within the next 10 years, I want to put 100 Black kids through HBCUs for free. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but that is my goal. I want to debt free. So I know that adds an extra layer of cushioning to parents when they're telling their kids to go to these schools. So they can say, it's debt free. You can go. So that's my big goal with Tones of Melanin, is to get these kids into school for free.
That is powerful, and it's gonna happen. Like after that Shark Tank effect hit, you gonna have so much money. You're gonna be like, man, listen, 100, we're gonna do 1,000. You know what I mean? We're just gonna go up, go crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. But listen, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you for giving us the time. Shark Tank, May the 19th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. If you do not catch it live, watch it on Hulu, ABC's website, wherever you get Shark Tank from. Make sure to watch and show love and tweet, because that's going to be super important.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell everybody to tune in. This is the season finale. We need all eyes. We need to show them that, hey, Black business, we got the support in the HBCU community. We need to be on TV more. So if they see them ratings going up, they're going to try to get more into the HBCU world. So even if you don't buy nothing, tune in for me. We need them views, please.
Yes, we're going to be tapped in for sure. And next week, I'm going to be doing a review and a recap of how things went. So that's going to be super important. So I'll make sure to stay tuned for that. But Ashley, thank you so much for coming on. You're listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to HBCUPulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.